Fort Matanzas National Monument is located 14 miles south of St. Augustine, Florida. Like the Castillo de San Marcos, it is being affected by the sea level rise, which is the result of climate change.
Basically, greenhouse gases. That's the greenhouse effect. You're getting melting polar ice caps, and you're getting what they call thermal expansion of the seawater, where the actual molecules of seawater expand with the heat, and it's all adding up to incrementally increasing sea levels.
To get to Fort Matanzas, tourists have to take a boat. On November 23rd, a couple of the morning tours got canceled because the dock was underwater due to the sea level rise after an everyday thunderstorm.
We didn't have a hurricane or a nor'easter. I believe we're close to a full moon, but we've had a very high tide this morning. In fact, we had to cancel our first our ferry trip over to the fort because we had water over our dock. And you can't have pedestrians, visitors on the dock when there's water. It's unsafe.
The sea level rise causes higher tides, which affects the dunes on the beaches. Even before the hurricanes, the dunes were being affected.
In summer of 2014, we had to start walking up in the dunes to do our surveys because the tides were so high. And in a normal situation, you've got what we call dune accretion, where you've got sand building up and building the dunes, and then you'll have erosion, and it kind of goes back and forth. But ever since about 2014, I noticed we weren't having any accretion, it was all just erosion. And then in 2016, we had Matthew, as you well know, and lost, probably 40 feet of dunes on the ocean side and about 400 feet down by the Matanzas Inlet.
Over 2,000 sea oat seedlings were planted to help the dunes recover. However, Hurricane Irma came about a year after the seedlings were planted, and another 25 feet of dunes were lost. When the dunes decrease, it is destroying and decreasing the homes and food sources for the creatures that live inside them.
Dunes are habitat for all the things that live in the dunes, but particularly things like the Anastasia Island beach mouse, which only lives on Anastasia Island. And we have one of two major populations of it, us and then the state park at the north end of the island. But the state park's a lot bigger than us. Here on Anastasia Island, we only have about 100 acres of habitat. Well, not even habitat, just parkland. And then within that, we have the dune habitat. So if you lose 400 feet of dunes, that's a big hit on that population because they rely on sea oats as their main food source.
Overall, St. Augustine is not the only area dealing with the sea level rise, but as a community, we are the only ones who can fix it.
People all up and down the coasts, Miami's dealing with this. So I don't know if there's quick fixes, honestly. Probably mitigating climate change would be our best thing we could do. But so far as a society, we haven't done too good of a job at that. So I don't know, honestly. We'll have to see what happens. And
This has been Kayla McManama with today's report.